Welcome in. Studio 10 Broadcasting, 10 O'Clock Talks. I am Michael Anthony, and you know that. Little nudes. You ever feel like you're in a stranglehold? Yeah. Now, before I get shut off, I better download. Better put that on a download. Anyway, thanks for joining in, or when it is that you get here. We are streaming live right now. Did you know the flu is back? Yeah, the flu's back. So here we are with that. One didn't work, bring out the other. Reinforcements. They're calling in the flu. Doesn't end. Well, we're going to just like putz around here for a minute and see if anybody comes through. Once the stream is accepted, I believe it is. We'll just double check that so we can see where we're at with this. And then we'll play catch up. Got you in a stranglehold, baby. Yep, I see me. There's Beth McCord. Beth is in. Okay. All right, just got to make sure my volume's down so I don't have any issues. Watching you. Okay. I see you. Yes. Send a hi to everybody. See if they get it, I guess. Anyway, you know who I am. It's time for some Michael time. I guess. Okay. All right, so we're all set up here. We're starting to get a little vibe going on, I guess, here. Technology, as good as it is, as bad as it is, it gets worse every time I go to use it. Anyway, so you heard the flu's back, right? It's coming back. Yep. One don't work, call in the reinforcements. We'll get it back. I opened up with some Ted Nugent. Wish you could have heard it. It was pretty good. I love it to death. Anyway, stick around. Do the fireworks with me. And y'all must have heard about this Kimberly Potter. She was convicted of manslaughter of this Dante White person. So that's all going on. And speaking of blunders, we have one out there. We all know who this blunder is, right? In America, it's Joe the Biden, the El Presidente. The blunder man. $100 billion in fraud. Okay, I'm going back there because I got to be honest with everybody. I streamed out of YouTube and something. I don't know. Technology just can. SUCKS, and that's the truth. But anyway, $100 billion in fraud, all about COVID claims, grants, unemployment, free rents, food stamps, and most of it falls under the watch of the new El Presidente. Hey, he's got to deal with the Mexican border, so he must be the Presidente. But anyway, that's what's going on that way. It's 85 million in Afghanistan, or billion, and now 100 billion in COVID claims. I don't know how these stimulus checks working for everybody out there. I mean, nobody can even collect all their unemployment and all these other things. And now it's what are they going to mean? You're going to have to go to the bank to take out twice as much to get back with everything, of course. Hey, Jeffrey, how you doing? So we're going to talk about that a little bit. But the payback's going to be tenfold more. I guarantee you. When you go to the bank to do whatever you need to do with the economy rising day in, day out as it is, that's where we're headed. And that's exactly where we're going to go. It's going to be a very hard 2022, and it doesn't seem to have a cure in sight. It really doesn't have a cure in sight. We can all think about these alphabetical letters that we're presented with, and we can use numerology. It still comes back to the same old story. The day comes, goes, nothing ever happens, and it doesn't happen. We need to focus on a different pattern here, people. We really do. We need to take a different outlook to this whole thing. But remember, we're paying for all these issues that Joe is creating, and it's going to be, and this whole Build Back Better, it's been nothing but a sham. I mean, think about it. Where is our economy? Where is this place that we're in? This $100 billion that is taking a big part of a dramatic turn in the direction of America and what they're doing. I mean, they got trillions, not for you, no, for their constituents, for the corporations, and more. And that's who they want to feed. They want to feed the strengths. And anybody see, it seems that we're having this download of corporate management now are all from India. What the hell's this about, man? Truthfully, what the hell's this about? So I guess we're going to learn more as the days fall, because they are, and we know that that's really happening. So I guess instead of going after these low lights, to put it politically correct, because if I mentioned anything about life, I'd probably get jilted with a COVID violation. So we'll call them the low lives, making deals with the government. So it all comes down to payments for a vote. Put that together. You're not going to have to pay it back. We know you spent it all, but you're going to have to vote for somebody we want you to vote for. And that's the direction that's going in. No jive. That is the truth of it all. And still, while many never received a stimulus or an unemployment payment, all the ones with the fake jobs, businesses, fake addresses, fake peoples, and even dead people all seem to have been able to collect grant money, unemployment money, and stimulus checks, while the essentials who really worked, or the people who really got laid off, are still fighting for day one checks and more and stimulus as they were promised. But they're not paying attention to us. They're just, they don't know. Can't hear you. And that's what's going on in a big way there. So don't forget about that. I mean, it's just sadness in America. And that's the truth of the fact. Honest businesses, the smalls, many received nothing, had received nothing. And now the doors are closing. And now more lockdowns, more other issues in New York, California, and a couple other states jumping aboard. Chicago as of January 3rd. Now it's like, if you don't have this card, you're not getting in anywhere. They're starting to attack the force, the 2022 big event. And not to mention, the flu's back. Yeah, I mean, hey, of all, one doesn't work, bring the other one back. So they're going to push and scare and enter everybody in your minds. Let's vaccinate them. Let's get this message out there that we're in more of a dilemma now. The flu will probably be 10 times stronger than it ever was before. I swear it's all by aerosol. It got to be by aerosol. At this point, there's no other answer for it. But, when we really look at where we are in America, and I put up a little logo today in the flag, it meant everything that I said about it. It's the truth. I meant everything that it said in many ways, but the honest businesses are hurt. And we are now witnessing the biggest crash ever to hit America. And that's the truth of the matter. The biggest crash ever, record lows in jobs, economy all over the place since the Great Depression. Yet, bear in mind this thought. When you see on TV the lines for like this Thanksgiving and Christmas and food banks, Cadillacs, Mercedes, Lexus, all in lines at the church and food banks for a handout or a turkey. Is there something wrong with this picture that we're at? This is where we're at. The homeless, the vets, still homeless. And again, a continuance here. History pulled from its foundations everywhere. People still dead. Police, in fact, in this moment, through this holiday, dead, being buried. Cities falling apart in front of our eyes, enforcing things that they have no business enforcing. Smash and grabs continue. Yes, there's a problem, and the media won't report on it. Do you think? That's what I say. Do you think? And to even go a step further, there's no criminal actions of anybody dealing fentanyl. Okay, I mean, there's a problem here in America bigger than anybody can imagine, and that's the truth of the matter. Let's see here. I ain't doing call-ins tonight. let me shut that off. Someone was trying to call in. Well, it's not that I don't want to do call-ins. I respect everybody out there. I totally do. And if I have a moment, I really will. I will try. So the smash and grabs, they continue to go. Well, that just escalates prices to you. That comes back on you. There's a blanket of what they expect to happen, and then there's a blanket of the unexpected to happen. And I guarantee you that's going to be another part of the inflation narrative. And again, MSNBC, they won't talk about that. Channel 11, Channel 4, Channel 2, Channel 7, Channel 8. Doesn't matter where you are. It's not within the gate of the realm of what the narrative is. And that's the point. It's what they can push in our face. Yeah. And then we go to this again. Where were we in 2021? Or too many white? Yeah, that was part of an issue here. It seems to be true. And I'm not against Keller. I'm not. I know many people out there have mixed culture families, and that's not where I'm going with this. And then you have BLM. Well, now they're getting replaced. They failed in their political scam, just like America Built Back Better. And now we're into this whole scenario with these guys. A new narrative, a new name. Yeah. Yeah. So wait for that. It's going to hit you soon, I promise. So, and the three queens, the ones spending the millions or gifted all the dollars and homes in California. Now, this is 2021, and you can't make none of this stuff up. November 3rd, stolen. January 6th is sham. It was a setup. Go back in my things. I said this over a year ago. Watch where this goes. Watch what happens. And I was on the phone with people while they were there, and that's the truth. I wasn't there. They were there. I was on the phone telling them, you better get the hell out of here. There is something so wrong with this picture. And it turned out to be true. Gut instincts do pay off if you speak truth to people, TSB, and you know who I'm talking about. She knows who I'm talking about. I went to her birthday party the other day in Pittsburgh here, and she was a rock star, always out at the rally supporting Trump, all this good stuff. And I appreciate her, and I did. We were on the phone together while this was all going on. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. I don't care if you don't believe me or not. I'll never admit where I was on that day. January 6th. I'm not going to admit it. But anyway, some of us do know. What is that all about? Well, it's coming out. It's coming out more and more. And again, back to this, too many people are white, and then they have to attack us. These three queens spend millions, gifted dollars. What do they really stand for? To support the payment of California dollars for Newsom and Pelosi? To get closer to that vibration, it's all sick and sad. It just truly is. And don't forget, did anybody mention pipe bomb? Maybe not. I don't know. So that was all a plated hand that dealt in a deck. There's no doubt. And right now, the war zone up there, it still looks like a war zone, a Nazi prison camp. And here we are. Worldwide protests is going on everywhere. But you may not want to do that in Washington, D.C., where you actually have freedoms and rights. No, you don't. National Guard's going to just signed in by executive order from Joe not long ago. Come back up here and protect this city. They know that they're doing so much wrong. I mean, what else can they do? This is where we're at with this all. So, getting past that, it looks like the prison camp that it is. And, why? Over a protest, this is what's developed? No, it's not because of the protest. These deplorables reach bottoms of lows of being bottom feeders of the worst toxic scenarios that one could ingest. Okay. And they've done it and they're stuck in it. And, they need protection and not a condom. Those are the type of people that need depopulated. If you get my drift, those are the people that need depopulated. So you got Fauci, you got Gates, you got hybrids, you got clones, you got Hollywood, you got sports teams, you got China, you got Russiagate, Benghazi, Afghanistan, Milley, pipelines closed, you got borders, laptops, and not to mention Pelosi's. But don't forget about that one. It's still MIA. Imagine that. Who has their hands on it? Bingo, there might be a drip. Something's going to come. Laptops, hookers, dope, the big guys cuts, missing children, black and fear, insider stocks, AI, Maricopa, fraud, Zuckerberg, Lemon, involvement. Smollett, is that his name? Smollett, you got that involvement going on? That's big. UFO drops, coma. This is all 2021. I'm not making this stuff. This is what you just lived. Bannon, Flynn, Trump, impeachments, more, arrests, indictments, corruption, control continues. Obama and Michael, Hillary and Rothschild, Maxwell, Billy and Epstein. And look, where were all these celebration parties at? And, you know, this hearing, if it doesn't piss you off, it should. The important factors of all of the credibility of everything, of all the information that we found out we knew about, none of it was presented in part of the case. They're still in charge even there. And that's the truth. I don't know what's going to come out of that nightmare. You know, you have somebody, they're there, you can do all the work. This costs money. Okay, tax dollars to fight against. Didn't bring up nothing. Didn't matter. It's because where the powers truly still lie, and they are there. And then you have, you know, Paskey all year long lying for Joe. Lockdowns, mandates, more. Watch the waters, shortages. Watch the waters, shortages, ships. I've always said that. Go back, look way before it ever happened. Parts, ports. Think about it. Parts and ports. What are we shortaging now? Stop. The trucks, the movements. This is all 2021. School teachers, CRT. Parents are the threat. 9/11. Don't mention it. It might let the cat out of the bag. It really may. No God. Close the churches. 5G tires everywhere. This is 2021. Not a Greendale. How's it a Greendale? It's a profit by pocket for people they know. That's all it is. Convict the cops. Yes, if a cop does something wrong to somebody, you convict the cop. But what about Ashley Babbitt? I got to bring it back up. When does she get her justice? That's all I'm saying. Every other cop has to have, you know, whatever. Got to be charged. Floyd, that cop, this cop, that cop. Everyone, court. Sentencing. Then now you have a guy shoots an unarmed woman. They're above the law. There's laws to protect above the law, and they are in place. And many of them fall within the jurisdiction of these laws above the laws where, hey, we can do anything we want. And that's where they're at with that. What a shame. 2021. What an example of horrific acts and actions within our own United States government. And it just is. These people are deplorable without a doubt. Free money for illegals. Kamala Harris, MIA, most of the time through 2021. But I did catch an ad. Maybe it was a false news. Hyena wanted, position available, White House, VP. Please send resume. Maybe it was a joke. I don't know, but it was there. It's 2021. This is what we were dealing with from both sides. Fourth wave boosters are placed. Yep, they are. 6 foot mask, 6 foot apart, ventilators, free speech, right to thought, cancel 2021. Warp speed, deliver. He got it done. Questions unanswered. That's fact. I have a lot of things I need to ask somebody here, but I'm going to move on because I don't want to get stuck in that because it just irritates the hell out of me where we are with this. Because I feel support is everything. Strength is everything with the right person. But when you promote something that is harmful to a child, I have questions for you. I just do. And I think everybody should. Because it's about grassroots. We the people who, what we want, what you do for us, doesn't matter about your name, your title, how much you're worth. You work for us, you do it. If we're backing you to become something or not become something, whatever the choice is going to be once it's made, know that we have questions, and I know I do. And I do. Money, power, control, greed continues 2021, and we still see it today at the end of this great year. Do you want to call it that? Not so great year, 2021, going into 2022. It's chaos. It's toxic. And this is, and PCR testing and trains and planes and travel, and travel cards are coming back. Watch the big explosion there occur now. Capitol Police video. Ooh, that's the good ones. You know, there's hours and over 1,000 hours of videos that we may just have gotten our hands on. And I can't wait for that to be uncovered from those blankets. It should be really good for everybody, you know? The United Nations, Agenda 30. Did anybody catch that thing that I posted? Man, go hurry up. Go into americadisclosure.com. I'm not .com. Well, there is one of those too. I just didn't enforce it yet. But America Disclosure Uncensored. Go in there and check out the original format and see whose agenda it truly was that brought it forth to be passed. Well, who other than the shit show and Nancy Lee, Nancy herself, Nancy Pelosi. It was all about Agenda 21 in place many years ago. Hey, you can't make this up. This is a plan, unsighted, meaning people did not read these 1,000-page. Oh, she just gave us a brief on it. All right, it's law. No one took the time to read anything on all these snuck-in features that puts them in these positions of placement, power, money, greed, fraud, dominion, and more. And that's exactly that's it. That's the picture. No one was up there working for us. They were playing the sides, collecting money, and playing the insider stock market, because that's what that truly stands for up there. That's all about what it is. And to help this one world government and this new Agenda 30, not to protect the children. And I'll be damned if I'm going to let anybody say that they say that this miracle medical procedure is good and promotes it when there's children being pointed at to be taken. Nah, it doesn't work for me. It just doesn't work for me. And that's where we're at. Fight for the future of life. Space Force, missing 411. Yeah, do you know what 411 is? Missing children? Yeah, that's still going on. All right. So check out what I've asked you to check out. Please, 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 please. And end. All right. No end in sight. Relocate. Climb in weaponry. Mark my words. It's going to become more profound and more occurring very soon. Very soon. They're not going to let up. Your new home's going to look like a tiny house. Hi, Nancy Vincent. You said you wanted to build one. Guess what? The government may be doing it for us. That may be soon to come. And living a lot closer to people than you ever may want to. But that's the case of 2021. Look up David Icke. Look up Michael Anthony. Look up Jordan Maxwell. Symbols and codes. Secret societies. Yes. It's unbelievable. Just tidbits of 2021. Tidbits. Population. Promote gayism. Unbelievable. 2021. Destroy the male masculinities. Read the guidestones. You can't lose the fight for the truth out there. You got to keep pushing forward, because what I got to say next is as bad as the first part of what I just did. Cancel flights, as I said. Boris, what a jag-off. Trudeau, another bot moron. And that's where we're at. False housing market. And it's going to create a crash. That's the fear I have for people out there buying right now. You're paying over $100,000 of actual founded worth in a home. It's going to crash. We're going to go back to right where we were when 9/11 hit, and that was the whole false narrative when everything stood still and there was a $600 stimulus check needed. I didn't get one back then. Somehow I didn't qualify for it, but nevertheless, that don't matter to me. I got to this point. I'm fine. But what I'm saying is, these false pretenses of these housing markets and stuff, be so ever so careful. But I get where you're at. If you feel you need to spend the money to move, to get the hell out of somewhere, you better do it, and you better do it quick. Use the cash. That's what I'm saying. Make cash valuable again. They don't want it to be. There's already banks out there. People are telling me they're going to banks, and they can't get cash. They can't cash a check. And they're being told there's no money right now in the bank. They're waiting on the truck from the Federal Reserve. Is it coming from Puerto Rico? Well, that's where it was founded. Maybe that's the whole issue here. The Fed is not part of the federal government in any way, shape, or form, but it has the power to run like one amongst you. Yes, one of these laws above law agencies who can do these things has nothing truly to do. It's part of a makeup of an insider stock trading system, okay? I'll put it to you that way. That's the best way to deliver it to you. So yeah, use cash only. So back to some other things. Moon, Mars, NASA. Lies, lies, lies. Mars now has mysteriously found water. Really, just the other, come on, really just the other day? No, I don't think so. We know about that for a long time coming, and you know we know. Yes, you know we know. So is the Earth flat or is it round? Your decision. Are they here or are they gone? Who are they? Who were they? Who did these people answer to truly? Them CEOs, doctors residing. Resigning. Selections, not elections, continue. And here's the sad part that gets me. Both sides. Both sides. It has to be about selection. Okay, we have to select somebody who's qualified. We have to, yeah, and now it's being said that Trump's creating a coup. Well, yeah, maybe he is deliberately creating some type of army. Okay, doesn't mean we shouldn't navigate. And from if history is your best teacher, then we must understand that we should be more involved on every level and be a voice for our own city, be a voice for our own counties and states. And choose what we choose, what works for us, and let the president then work with that. That works better for me. That gives us more added protection all the way around. And I'm just saying, think logically here. Think logically. Because even if Trump was to get back in, let's say he does it, he gets back in. Well, what if this vice president or whoever he runs with winds up, jumping sides? Where are we? We need to protect here. We really do. There's logic to this madness that I create, and it truly does work. People, grassroots, your own cities, your own counties, your own states. You endorse the people that you want and make the president work with them. Anything could happen at any given moment in time. I had 3 people die this week around me, and I didn't like it at all. And I don't like it at all. All I'm saying is anything is possible. I'm not going to dictate to you what had happened to them. You already know what happened to them. I shouldn't have to tell you anymore. When I say 3 dead, it's 3 dead, and I guarantee you that's not a lie. That's the truth. What I'm saying to you is, how do you protect your city, county, state, municipality, and you endorse the people. You strengthen your own city, and then let the dictations of how a recovery can take place with a president that we duly elect legally. And that's how it should work in America, bottom line. Otherwise, you'll wind up like Australia and Canada. Eminent domains being placed on people, taking their lands. You need to be grassroots. You need to be red for you, for us, and for no one else. As I continue through the path of 2021, lawsuits, fighting, most continue. Fake cops, fake blood, fake people, paid actors. What was that about? 10-6. You know what it's about. Hoaxes, days ahead, known. Testified. People came out, whistleblown, all true shit. All right, the innocent, jailed, charged. And you know who those people are, what they're going through. Gay is good. Freedoms are bad. Second Amendment, in danger. It's going to always be in danger now. As long as they are at the helm, it will always be in danger. And don't even think that's the best part of the whole Constitution has been pretty much tossed out. And that's a fact. That's a fact. 2021, that's what we're living. That's what I'm talking about right now. If you just came in, this is Studio 10 O'Clock Talks. Thank you for coming in. I am just irritated with this shit of what 2021 represented in America. And we are in America in crisis, and 2022 is going to double in volume of issues and problems as this Agenda 21 now starts its creation and movement forward. And I'll get more into how that's going to affect and why, because they are pissed at Trump. I guarantee you. Well, actually, I'll stay on this right now just for a minute. There was a point in time where Trump took millions of acres of land to help with gas, drilling, fossil fuels, more homes, people, to be able to have a piece of the rock somewhere out there in particular zones. Well, yeah, now they're going to fight it back. They want to discard that because they don't want us to be ever again dependent upon ourselves. No, that can't happen. They're going to now try to create this weaponry of climate and create dead zones that these places now, as the world turns, not like the old show, but as the world turns, it's going to become more harder to live within it and within certain areas and environments and sectors. And guess what they're going to do? They're going to take it by eminent domain. They're going to make a declaration of an executive order that says it's unlivable. And they're going to take it for China. They're going to take it for Gates, and they're going to take it for profit. And they're going to put things in placement there that we will never be able to see again, because then it will be all founded. Trump gave it back to us. He moved the lines back. He gave this to us to make it work for America, to become independent. And that's not good enough. You look into this stuff. I guarantee you it's for real. I wouldn't be talking about it if it was bullshit. And it's not bullshit. It's 100% true. Look into what he did. And Joe's talking 3 million acres. He wants to close down 3 million acres and get, of course, cap every well and throw everybody off the land. And he can do it under an executive order if they can come up with a farce such as climate control issues. And they will do it. It's expected to happen this year. I guarantee you, I'm not wrong. It's going to come. They're surrounding us. In many ways, our freedoms are bad. There's not a doubt about it. And they are definitely in jeopardy as we go forward. And not only is our freedoms bad, these contaminated food recalls to continuously grow. And if you want to go a little further into 2021, let's take a U-turn here just for a minute. You got Mad Max, you got Omar, you got AOC, you got Liz Cheney, you got Pence, you got Comey, you got Schiff, you got Al Sharpton. Only comes out when the lights turn on for his camera. Yeah, this man is so full of shit, okay? Bottom line, that's exactly what he is. He only shows up when the camera's on. And don't ask them a question. Just let him speak on it. Yeah, exactly. Sure. Just like Joe, just like Washington and everything we're living in. All I can say is, has the London Bridge really fallen? I don't know. She's been MIA. Is the Pope dead? That's what's going around. What is this new religion? There's a new religion coming. I swear to God, it's not a joke. That's what the focus is. Bad is good. Good is bad. Martha Stewart jailed. Stocks Comey. Yeah, remember? That's who convicted her. What was the stocks all about? This is going to blow you all away, okay? If you're just checking me out, this is going to blow you all away. Guess why they put Martha in jail? Cloning company. Oh, man, what does that tell you? Cloning. I swear to God, it's real stuff. Bushes at the top. Stem cells. Hey, you remember that? He wanted nothing to do with stem cells and being able to do this or help a cancer patient. No, we should just leave life be life. Yeah, right. Hide behind your stories, my brother. Hide behind your stories. We now know they were all a lie from you, baby Bush, without a doubt. Maybe he left his mind in Bohemian Grove. Maybe that's what it was. Push lesbianism. Push growth. Hey, look, I want everybody to be happy. Do what you want to do. Everybody should be happy. Everybody should do what they want to do. That doesn't mean we have to live the same lives. We got along before. Even if you guys are multiplying, so will we. It doesn't matter as long as we can protect the population. However, it's all a narrative. And even today on the news, everything surrounded sex. Sex sells. Yeah, number one, but sex is the cure for mental health. That was the narrative being pushed today. I'll get a little bit more into that in a moment. I will. Narratives, again, they're all over the place. War crimes, crimes on humanity. Why aren't we doing any? It's unreal. Pharma, banks, Switzerland, Vanguard, BlackRock. 9 years to go till Agenda 30. Count your days. I'm not joking. Get ready. Buckle up, people. Control. Track and trace. Automobiles. Disguise. The sun. Kill America with every objective they can come up with. Didn't I mention to you the flu's back? It went MIA for a year. And it's coming back. And it's a lot more lethal. Watch. You'll see. Not a joke. You'll find out. Fascism. How about the little fuck you ism? Socialism, authoritarianism, institutionalism, leftism, Trumpism. I like the Trumpism better than them all so far. How about some youism, weism, the peopleism, Marxism, strength, Strengthens in our numbersism. Don't forget that. Put the isms in there. WikiLeaks, Snowden, Ike, Maxwell, evidence, truth, names, Smithsonian, Grand Canyon, Iraq, Hollywood, conspiracy, vaccination, mind control, Pizzagate, traffic. Show me a man willing to give up everything and die for fighting for it if it's necessary. And that's the president that I want to represent me in the great United States of America. And the ones that are forgotten, they should never be. And we should have all the information on everyone and why. It should all be for us to know unequivocally across the board. And I'm speaking about some great guys here. I truly am. Such as JFK, Lincoln, Garfield, McKinley. Yes, true people who died in position of being the president of the United States. We should never forget those. Those are our history. Those are the warriors that we had for presidents, without a doubt. And I quote that to be true. They died with us and for us. And I quote that to be true. Unbelievable stuff. 2021. And I didn't even break the ice. I didn't. China is good. Joe is worse. Think about that narrative. In fact, he sold his soul for money, and many have. Not Reagan. You thought I was going to leave him out. No. He took a bullet for us, but he didn't die. There's a separation of narrative there. And it was all related, I assure you. No different even than John Lennon and probably Prince. There's a list. And let's not leave out the suicides. We know what that story continues like. And then let's talk about this. It's a little bit different of a narrative, just a minute. Fauci, Soros, Obama. Fake news continues. Hillary, Russiagate, uranium, millions. We can't forget these items, can we? Pedophilia. And there's that suicidal issue. Anytime that they're put under pressure, that we see live amongst America and people within it. And it doesn't end. And that's just still a small piece of 2021 and what we reflected in. Best way to put it. I need coffee. And don't forget the suicide issues. That's all I'm saying. Puts a lot of narrative together. You know, this government needs to go down and go down hard. So here we are. Durham has returned. Is he fighting hard enough for us, or is this going to turn into the Epstein failure of the century in the courthouse? Because that's what it's turning out to be in my mind. Children at schools, the futures. We got to protect that. BLM, as I said, I would come back to it and circle back. I don't like to use that term, but it's just that I always think about the orange when I do it. Anyway, the BLM now is considered to be called the Black Empowerment Movement. Be prepared for what's to come from these people. And as we continue back into 2021, mandates, jobs, securities. What is secure? Nothing secure. What about the Vegas shooting? Does anybody remember that whole dream team scheme that one man caused all that? Come on, let's just say, did you forgot? I know you did. But, someone's got to remind us of this stuff. 2021, 2020, 2018. It doesn't matter. It needs a focus point because it's never been resolved and they won't let it get resolved. Again, tornadoes, gates, China, lands, failures, cattle, farmers, milk, four-legged chickens. Don't doubt me, they exist. Liquor sales through the roof. Why? Social anxiety. It's got to be controlled and controlled affairs. The new Green Deal. Yeah, that's the definition. Pass the buck program. That's exactly what's going on. It's who you know getting all the jobs out there. It's all placement. It's all narrative being done to throw it in our face. These were where the new jobs were created. They were created. While they created these new jobs, they made sure they 86'd all yours and more. And you see why. Mandates. Mandatory this, mandatory that. Not one, not two, not three, not four. Now the flu. And you need the flu shot. So we're at 5. If you really think about it, everyone's saying, oh, we're in the 4th wave. No, we're in 5. Because you're supposed to get the yearly vaccine for the flu. Don't forget that. It's 5. I'm not wrong. New Green Deal. Yeah. Definition, pass the buck series. That's all it is. People, places, things, control, power, greed, bloodlines, them, coup, cult, membership. The 5I. I don't know if any guys know what the 5I is, but I'll bring more to that on you, with you. And then let's talk about the black eye. Do you get it? Yeah, I know you guys do. Hollywood, Oprah, Madonna, fake news, late night shit shows. You hear these guys, you know what they stand for. Again, filtrated 2021. Oh, every narrative under the sun, it was all about vaccination. And they were doing it. Sci-fi, pandemics, why do they exist? Why so many? Hollywood. Rosenstein, Bohemian Grove, 33 and above. That's a signal. Someone will recognize what I just did. Skull and Bones, Prescott Bush, Germany, breakaway civilization, war, plan, fight for your own country. No, fight for your creative lies. And this is where we stand in America on what happened with that. Creativity creates war, creates money, creates death. We've all been lied to. We died for nothing, for the rich and the power and the elites. Think about it. Think about it. The military-industrial complex, Area 51, 1947, Marco Project, Skunk Works, Los Alamos, Lockheed Martin, Boehm, Valvin. You guys don't know this name, Val Thor. Okay, look it up. Philip J. Corso, Lieutenant Colonel, Developments, Bob Odine, Project Shock, William Tompkins. Some call him William Tompkinson. I was told his name was William Tompkins. Doesn't matter. Project developer of crafts, Philip Schneider. Well, we know what he told us, and he disclosed a lot. Satanic Bibles are just all nuts. I mean, think about this. Demons, orbs, shadows, history, myths, legends, giants. Suppression, history, narrative, makeup, control, over and over and over again for money, greed, and purpose for one side. For the power and the elite. The Felicians, it didn't matter. The Rothschilds, it didn't matter. The Soros, it didn't matter. As long as they were on the receiving end of the narrative. And they always have been. And it goes back into biblical, yes. Maybe not the way everybody thinks about it, but it does go back into it. And don't forget the Pfizer pill's ready. 2021. We're not even done yet. Now we got a pill coming. Will this be the Generation 6? Should we call it Generation 6 to create a narrative around this red pill, whatever color it is? Think about it. Fourth wave plus flu 5, Generation 6. I think we need a code. Can we go with it? Is everybody good on going with this new pill? Code 6, Generation 6? No, that's what's coming now. Don't fight the government. Think tanks. They are hard. Be very careful what you wish for. They're practicing on you right now in everything they do. This is all practice, and it's going to get stronger. Election hands. Again, start worrying because it's all being done, picked, and placed right now as we go to fight for America, where we might have some type of resolution to everything. They are creating the next wave of narrative to stop anything we can do to get this country back into our control within our hands. And they don't want us to have it. And this is another part, 2021, and the work's still working. Ballot boxes, drop boxes, dead people, bad addresses, moved. Doesn't matter. It's all going to continue. It's going to continue. You have New York City and other cities now voting for illegals to be able to vote. Have no citizenship. They got your money. You're going to work for it. You're going to reimburse the government for what they're going to give to them because it's our fault. Remember? Don't forget it. It's our fault. Should we be expected something greater in power than Trump, as he points up? I point this out because he's not afraid to point up. And I only know of one other fraction of something like that had occurred in history. And it was Michelangelo and the painting The finger was pointed up, mind you. Now, take for granted. Go on America Disclosing Uncensored. Look at the picture. If you put a mirror next to this picture, I want you to tell me what you see. Donald J. Trump is telling us a message. That's all I know. And I'm just wondering if I overthink things or if I'm actually onto something here. I want you to think about it. Take a look at that picture. Listen to the verbiage. Listen to it. And remember, Donald likes to point out, maybe, just maybe, this information is going to come out in a way that no one ever anticipated it. And I'm saying maybe. I'm not saying it's real. I'm saying maybe. Okay, keep that in mind. I have a pretty good suspicion I know where it's going to go, but I'll keep that to me. All right, have faith for us and for no others. Fight this agenda. Fight for your whiteness. Fight for your Dr. Seuss and help build back what we can better. There's no such thing as supremacy and no such thing as rage. However, it does exist. It exists in the ones who promote it. The controllers of the Republic, of the Democrat and Republican parties, the enforcers of the laws and more, are the creators of all this. They are the true enemy, the ones that label us with their own names. I guarantee you that's where that is. All victimized, compared. White leadership, governments, they are the root of the evil, without a doubt. The majority, look who they are. Look who they are. Look who they are. And look at their whiteness. And if you want, you can always mention to Joe, KKK. 2021 continues. Narratives, examples, and here we hold to try to create and figure out the truth of the rage, the supremacy, and the white, and the friends, the feds, and more, and how to identify. Controlled lockdowns, sexuality, mandates, push. 85 billion, as I said, lost military. Americans bombed, left behind, 13 dead. Don't forget that. Pray for those souls. And more. Elections, and it's true, more did die. They lied about everything that they bring forth to the table. When it comes to soldiers, yes, the number's accurate. More people were involved in that. There's not a doubt in my mind. Free cash, sickness, climate destructions. I mentioned it repeatedly because it's my biggest fear for what they're going to do to us, and it's going to come hard. It's going to come hard. Essentials, very important. Millions of dollars, but not for you, but for payoffs for the other people of pandemics, 100,000s in lives lost. We're in the millions at this point. It just depends where you're at on the blanket of the number of who has passed due to this tragedy of the creation versus the medication. It all applies together, and it's huge. It's huge. It's huge. And don't forget, they pay $9,000. Anybody willing to say that a family member, we'll give you $9,000. Just sign off that they died for COVID. Just say it. That's how they're dealing with this. It's not going away like that either. So just in 2 weeks, just now in 2 years, just for 2 weeks, we're going to lock down. Do you remember that? In the earliest part of the stage, and I'm not saying, okay, Trump was there. I know what was going on. But the point is, we're at 2 years and there's no end. Are you waking up yet? Are you truly waking up yet? Are you getting the big picture? We're at 2 years and there's no ending in sight. And now another flu. A flu is on its comeback. Yeah, they're going to get you with the flu or this. They're going to try. They're going to keep pushing it. There's no doubt about it. These people are morons, and we got to fight them. And so as 2021 still continues, and there is no end in sight, as I just said. So what is CERN? Remember, I'm navigating through 2021. I'm jumping, hoping you pay attention to how and why I'm doing it and the delivery that I'm using, because there's a trickle of information within it all. You take control of that and be in control, and I'm directing that to you. The Pure Winds dating sites. Not a joke. Not a joke. This is the future we're heading into. Stop the fine. Stop OSHA. Stop the negativity. Stop the nonsense. This will affect everyone, and it will not be on anyone's side. When this comes to closure with these morons, and I joke not here, doesn't matter who you voted for, on which side you voted for. When the final drops, the attack's going to come to who's ever out there in the field. Whoever falls under that depopulation number, it's not going to matter who you voted for at that point when they finally get to that. It's not going to matter. It's going to be every one of us. Every one of us. Don't know who the chosen few will be if we really reflect on what the stones say. However, that's the direction we're going. Keep that in mind. So, how do we cure this? I don't know yet. I do know how we can fight it. And I've described that earlier. So if you want to reflect back, please do it. But for now, what I want you not to do is to anchor yourself to any number or any letter of the alphabet, because they don't work for you with truth. They just don't do it. I have a little bet going on with a young lady. Her dates versus my saying no. Her date versus my no. It ain't gonna happen. And so far it hasn't. It's all been. I'm just saying, don't hold on to something that's not there. Get up from behind where you're sitting and do something and make the point work that way for yourself, because that's what Americans do. That's what Americans in a crisis situation need to do. That's what Americans need to get out and make better choices for how they can help people versus us just doing memes, because or whatever you want to call these silly gesture things that we use on here. Half of them I can't even see, but I'm half blind. That doesn't mean, I'm right here. So anyway, all I can say to you in this at the end of 2021 is we navigate through some of these mentionings of people's names, places. Houston, we have a problem here. And yeah, you can't make this shit up. You just can't do it. We demand answers. We demand questions. And no matter how big in this life and death situation, we need to get into it. We just do. Even Scientology can't come to a good conclusion of what this all means, although they do know. The books never change once they're written. Never forget that. But in real life, it does change how the book is written every day. You can't take the Indians from the water, but you can take the property from them. However, the Indians were the smart ones. They fought. They fought laws. They came back. And now they're using our own U.S. currency to buy back everything that the United States government took from them with casinos. There's always a way to figure out a better way to go. We just need to do it. We need to create better structure. And that's all I'm trying to say to anybody here. And that's the truth of the matter. Build back better? Nah. Build back again? Yeah, we can do that. And it won't be an easy process, no matter what any kingpin tells you. Don't believe it. It's not going to go away. And no, it just ain't going to happen that way. More is going to come. 22 is going to be disastrous, and probably in ways that you'll never imagine, just because your rights are going to shrivel up to the point of that paper being rolled up into a little ball and thrown under a desk, under a table. I guarantee you that's coming. Anyway, so that's part of the 2021 that I wanted to get at. Remember this mandate, it's all gone wrong. The Indians found a way to get out of it, and they're doing it by using our own government's money on them back. You got to love it. It's true. Think about it. Think about it, man. They are cigarettes, gambling. Hey, everything the government used, they promote. They're not wrong. They're not wrong. Doesn't matter if they agreed to squander some bucks to the politicians to get it all going. These people deserve their lands back, the same as you're going to say that you want yours back. All right. Again, I made a quote the other night. It said, if you bring hay to the cattle, they will never wander. That's a true fact. And that's how they're treating you. Little tidbits. Just bring them enough. Keep them at bay. Keep them there. Keep them locked in place. Man, crazy direction of 2021. I know everybody's seen it, and I probably have missed 1,000 things that I could have categorized and just blurted out and did it in some type of power speech. But, it just is what it is. I want to end in a way with this. Stockholm Syndrome, MK Ultra, missing laptops, utilities on the rise, taxes, food, automobiles. What is behind the smoke? Truth Covert. Listen to that. Maybe you'll get it. So this thing with egos and people, I never hope to have an ego be bigger than what his job reflects. One's job reflects. I am totally appalled at the fact when we're in a crisis where Fauci, Gates, the moron teams and the CDC and the FDA pushing towards children and a child, maybe yours, maybe your grandson, wanting their arm to be reached out with, and you must accept this medication. I can't accept anybody promoting medication, because once you do that and you're not looking at the big picture and you're forgetting to protect the children, I have a lot of questions for you. And I'm sorry if I'm coming through in a negative way on something that we all represent, and even I do. But I have serious questions here. And I want serious answers. And no, he's not going to pick up the phone and call me. He's not going to pick up the phone and call me. But I want you just to weigh it. We know what their push is. We know where the jobs stand. We know that people have walked out. Us as adults can take one's ego on accomplishments. But when your accomplishments are more important than our children, I'm sorry, you're a little bit fucked up somewhere. And that's the best way I could say it. Think before you talk. You owe us an explanation. Yes, are there casualties in war? Does he have to be careful? Don't take our children from us doing it. Hands off. Hands off the children. Find a different way. Make sense of it. And let the American people know what the hell that is. And I'm sorry. I have to say it that way. But it is what it is. Don't push something on me that affects children. Me, I can take it as a man. If I was forced to take it, I guess I'd take it. You know, I'd try to throw it up out of me or something. I don't know what I'd do. Cut my arm partially. I don't know. But don't do it to a child. They're already doing it to children all across the world. They're attacking children. Children of the future. And if you believe in after death and reincarnation, you might be the child coming back. You better fix what you need to fix here now with me. Fight with me. Fight with us together. All for one and one for all. And vote red. Georgia Garcia in Georgia. Don't forget that. I'll be having him on shortly, and I want you guys to check out. Now, this sex positivity and travel and all this shit, they're recommending to anybody if you're having if you're having sexual, whatever, think about traveling and where you go. So they're promoting basically like Swinger Island and things like that. And if you, put your creation of thought into it, you're going to wipe out all these illnesses. And I guess in a way, these hormones create endorphins or whatever. Maybe they do help you in a way. But they were out this morning promoting very loudly and very clearly, not just on the news, but on a platform show with these other doctors. They're not all there now, and it wasn't the Oz. I don't know what the hell they're called. But this was the whole format of the show. Sex is the correction. It's unbelievable. Don't forget what I told you about January 3rd down in Chicago, what's going to happen there. All you people from Chicago, I feel so bad for you. And they are making arrests. They're making points. They're going to be watching. They're going to be close guarding businesses. And they will arrest you if you don't have a card you're trying to get in anywhere. And you better do the best you can to make sure that you're doing it right. Okay? Don't get yourself arrested. You don't need to do it. Figure out something else. Maybe you have a friend that has, people need to help people here. Some people aren't taking well to the fact that they did it. They have their medical card now. Maybe they can do a favor and do some things for us. You know what I mean? I don't know. Something can be worked out some way, somehow. Just don't, fall into any bad narratives with it, because it's coming across America, and it's not going to be wildfire. There's going to be states like DeSantis in Florida and Abbott in Texas, and maybe, down in the great land of the biker groups and stuff like that. Is her name Christine? Yeah, I think so. God, so many things in my head. Anyway, sky pollutions, planes, stop the flying. So yeah, I want you to understand what had happened through Christmas. This is an important factor. As they pushed on us that we were in this place of all this detrimental narrative of, oh my God, everybody's sick and the pilots aren't coming in. They weren't on a plane. They were not on a plane. Excuse me. They were actually flying illegals all over the United States, tying up the air travel, using Christmas as the holiday narrative to use a narrative saying bad weather, people sick, flights over 1,000 done, when they were actually bringing illegals in from Mexico and over 150 other countries. Not a joke. You heard me. And I can prove it. 150 other countries. And they flew them in, even in my state of Pennsylvania here. It was a narrative. It was a setup. No different than J6. It was a setup. It was called Christmas Day. Not a joke. They took advantage of us. They set us up. I didn't see it coming. I learned about it late in the evening. How did I learn about it? Well, I have some parents who have kids that are somewhere and they fly these machines, okay? And they're military. So that's all I'm going to say about that. They know what they were transporting on their planes, and they were packed like sardines. I know in Pennsylvania they were dropping them off all over the place, okay? They're amongst us. The numbers are going to be so absorbently high. It's going to blow you away as you start to go out and shop the next 30, 45 days. I guarantee you, you're going to hear languages you never heard before. You're going to see dress things. You're going to also start to see clothes on racks change. Why? Because they're going to bring culture into Walmart for now. They're going to make everybody happy until they get us to a point where they push us all together and take the lands, and voila. 9 more years. Not even, but 9. It's a bad place. It's a bad thing, and that's the plan. I guarantee you. Go back on America Disclosing on Senator. Listen to Pelosi, out of her own words, her own mouth, 25 years ago, when they snuck this through on everybody, and no one read the inside of the damn booklet. They just signed off on it. Yeah, legislators will do it, senators will do it, Congress will do it, and they all did it. They signed it off. This is why we're in the position we're in. These narratives were put in place. Anyway, it sickens me to death because you can't remove a law. You have to abide by a law. And they're utilizing laws that they created, snuck in, and now they're taking advantage of us because they had their placement in place of everything they needed. So Beth's back watching. Izzy's on tonight. Jeff Strong was in. A few people here and there. Better than nothing. We're still in the middle of the holidays. People are tired. Holidays. People are sick of hearing it. I don't blame anybody. I really, really don't. Disappointed about Maxwell, though. That Epstein-Maxwell trial. That's disappointment to me, without a doubt. And you should be, too. It should have been much stronger. It should have been much more heard. There should have been much more things presented. And they didn't do it. They rested early. So probably walk. I mean, there's nothing good about it. Not even 1871. That's when this whole catastrophic ordeal happened. When you hear all this happened 50, 60 years ago. No, it didn't. No, you're wrong. It started in 1871. Do your history. I'm not wrong. 1871. Anyway, this New World Order has been changing the powers and changing countries by corporate takeover, acting as banks, and offering the good hands to people, only to manipulate the powers of the places of people and countries. They're placed everywhere. And way before 2021. But it was an awakening for 2021 that we find out all this information in many ways. They have God gone, the Constitution gone, corporations selling their own stocks, and that's true. You got Meadows right now versus Trump. That's going to be a conspiracy. Maybe a world conspiracy. We need an America for independence. We need to hold on to it. Biden's coming up with a plan right now. It's already in place. I know it is. That's going to basically start collecting all the lands up from the Americas. To better off other countries and big pharma to control the narrative of the majority of the dry lands of the USA. Coastal regions, all through the Midwest, from all the way from the West Coast to the East Coast in many ways. Track the storms, you'll know where the land issues are that I'm talking about. And never take off the table what we watched happen to Texas. Never take that off the table. $2021. What a year, huh? What a year in every way, shape, and form. So those were a few of the things. And I did some of the things over because I had people telling me they didn't catch it. They couldn't find me on. Somehow YouTube separated my channel. I got 2 channels and I don't. But I do. But I don't. They did it. And now we're trying to figure it out. And I think between them and us, we may have. And then some of my videos where my biggest views are going to come back. And I can't wait for that to happen. So anyway, I thought I'd run this stuff by you. Tomorrow night, I'm working with encounters of the Bigfoot and theories and more. And of course, we always make some type of mention to America and what we stand for. So I'll be on with Dave Parker. Friday night, I'll be on with Richard Scott. Sunday night, I'll be on with Rosalind. Yes, rather famous out of Canada. We'll be talking about the oneness and all of the good positive energies and so forth. Things that might help you concentrate more. And you never know. They can help. Okay. But there's a lot of people into it. And we're trying to help everybody that we can by keeping a positive environment in Studio 10 o'clock talks. Whether you're seeing me on 10 o'clock talks on a Friday with guests or without, or just here on a Wednesday night. But remember, we're going into a holiday. We're all taking days off. I'm just trying the narrative through them. Reach out to everybody. Wish you the best of holiday. Hope your Christmas was the merriest ever. Because remember, next year you might not have one. That's not a joke. I'm not making that up. I'm telling you the truth. Next year you might not have it. So make the best out of what you can this year. Make New Year's grander than you ever did before. A party like tomorrow is never going to be here. Okay? Just utilize that in your mind. Treasure family, protect the children, accept nothing, ask all the questions that you can. You are the one that controls your destiny in life. That's what I can tell you. I don't know what that's about. Michael, you scared me. I don't know who said that. Really? Who said that, Beth? I didn't mean to scare anybody. How did I scare somebody? Telling the truth? Yeah, I don't know. I thought I seen something that said, Michael, you scared me. I don't know where the hell it is. Jeff Strong, Michael, you scared me, you said. Oh, okay. I have to think about what that means, brother. Anybody want to call in? You can do it now. You want to talk 2021? This is the number. Pay attention. Get a pencil. I'm not going to use Messenger because I do believe they're listening to me. All right? You call in, and I'm only going to stay on if I get some calls. 724-954-1193. No, I'm not going to type it and post it. 724-954-1193. If you want to bitch me out, call me. If you want to agree with me, call me. If you want to voice your opinion, protect your vote, call me. If you want to talk about 2021, call me. Work with me here. It's your voice. It's right now. The platform's open. I'm going to light a cigarette and wait to see if anybody does it. it is Tuesday night as far as I know. Tomorrow's Wednesday, and I'm doing another segment tomorrow. I think you're trying to play with my head. I don't know, man. I don't know. I also have a couple other special guests coming in. A ufologist specialist, studies a lot, has very good character. And hey, I want you guys to hook up my girl CJ, man. She's in our own group, America Disclosing Uncensored. She's one of our members. Do whatever you can. What day did I say it was, brother? No, I think, all right, if I said that, thank you for the correction. Okay. No, I think I was relating to the fact, and maybe it just came out wrong, was the fact that I'll be on tomorrow night with David Parker, the man that lives amongst them. It's not a show that everybody watches. It's pretty interesting, pretty intriguing. A lot of people believe in it, and guess what? There's a lot of good people over there that don't like what's going on in this world, and I got to reach out for them and welcome them in. Get it? I'm trying to find, gather, and create support, all for one for all, and it's going to come in many ways. They may not make sense to everybody, but the truth of the matter is, they're going to work for us. One for all, and it's going to come in many ways. All right, I'm just checking my notes here. All right, no one's calling in, so I guess everybody's done with me. I guess I could sit here and babble, and I don't want to do that. Okay. Wednesday, you said Wednesday. Wednesday, I said when. You know what? I should call you Jeff Strong. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can do that. You got a phone next to you? The last thing I want to do is create anxiety in one's life by speaking truth or misrepresenting a day or a time. So, just to clarify the best I can, because I don't give clarity on what I talk about. I give hints and indications. And that's the truth. And I'll always do that. And I hope nobody judges me for it. But I try to watch things. I don't try to sugarcoat them. I just try to give them out in a different format. Jeff Strong. All right, let's see if Jeff answers. You there, Jeff? Hey, brother, what did I misunderstand? I'm sorry, I'm bringing you in like this. I'm not trying to call anybody out.
No, sir. No, sir. It's funny. I laugh because I don't know what day it is.
Oh, well, either do I. You're among. Listen, my brother, you're amongst friends there. Because honestly, I'm not going to joke about this. I tell everybody I celebrate Friday every day of the week. That way, I never have to look forward to it, and it's always with me. Therefore, I don't know what day I'm actually in most of the time, and that's a true story.
I think my mood needs to be in the same place because that means Mondays always suck. So.
Oh, usually. But I do want to thank you for, educating me on what day of the week we both thought it may or may not have been. And that's always, a better way to have a laugh at the end of a segment and whatnot. But always remember, you can't call in. It's not an issue. I mean, people talk on the phones every day together. And if you ever have a narrative or something, please utilize it. Call in.
That's fine, Michael. It was just, I have stuff to do before the weekend, and I thought, oh, crap, I got to run in my office and box up 7 houses real quick and start labeling and pulling keys and tagging them and stapling them. I'm like, no.
Sounds like you need the rest of our crew to help you.
Sir?
Sounds like you need us to help you with that.
Oh, no. This is we're getting petered out by supply chain and big companies, big corporate stuff. I've never seen it before. I saw 2000, 2008. This one here, I saw that coming in 2006 when I was in New York, and it is what it is. It's just sickening, especially if somebody would research Lehman Brothers. Lehman Brothers, Goldman Sachs, and the other four. There was five at one point.
Right.
When you know what I'm talking about.
I know exactly what you're talking about, and I know the corporate leaders go much higher than that, but I mean, it all turns in at the top to Vanguard, BlackRock, and two others. They own everything.
Came out of from tax dollars too.
Yeah, it's all a power struggle. Switzerland, the banks of Switzerland, it's all the money. That's the whole enchilada. That's part of what we're fighting. But when you really, look at all this beyond that, I still come into this theory. What does this all mean at the end of the day when there's, if everything we understand is to happen as it's being spoke about in many ways, humanity's going to mean nothing to nobody. It's like they're answering to some type of typical higher power. And then I see Trump's finger always pointing up. Like, and right. I'm like, are we in for an awakening that's an awakening of a bizarre circumstance or what, but whatever's coming, something's very weird. And he admits to it by his pointing and has done it repeatedly. I don't think he's referring to a higher place of a religion, although he leads you to believe it. And I'm not saying that I believe in anything else amongst that, but it's just a bizarre.
When his brother passed away, that changed him when he was in the building in the Bronx. That totally changed that man. It was one of those experiences that changed. I've had stuff that changed me.
Sure.
He's not a god by any means. And that's the one thing the left is going to use against him. He thinks he's this and he thinks he's that, and that's going to come to a head. I think the Republicans and Donald Trump and DeSantis and somebody else, they're going to say, well, we're going to go ahead and throw a monkey wrench on everybody.
Yeah, the possibility does exist.
Open happens. He goes for the Speaker of the House from Florida for 2 years and then drops out and runs for president, or somebody else will with some common sense.
Well, you know what? I think his narrative would be good there if he did that. However, I don't know if at the end of that term, being with his age and, the first lady and all, that's a big undertaking in your latter part of years, unless he feels that he can, and this job's going to be bigger than ever to come into as well. I don't know if he'll be stable enough and willful enough to stay in it that long, because we're talking 6 more years. And what is he, 74 now?
Yeah, but have you ever read the book that he wrote after The Art of the Deal or whatever? I didn't read that book, but I bought one book, and it's called Think Like a Billionaire. And if you read some of the stuff in it, very short chapters. I mean, he wrote it himself.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. That's been said.
But that particular book right there shows that he makes business moves, and I'm in business for myself too. So I have to make very careful decisions, especially dealing with other people and people that they have this and you want this, and you like to buy it. If they know you want to buy it, you're going to pay out the nose for it. So you tell them, well, what will you take for it? Type deal. It's all in that book, his thinking and how he plans. I don't know about The Art of the Deal. I probably couldn't follow it because I've heard it's like The Art of War or something. I just don't have time for it. But this one right here was pretty short, sweet, and simple.
Well, short, sweet, and simple works better for the American people. Narratives in books that are compared in many ways, like the Bible, are really confusing to people, and that's a true fact. There's some fascinating writers out there, but clarity is, I think, the best point of any book, where somebody speaks in layman terms and just throws it down and gives you the information versus deadlocking you in thought and creating brain fog, making you rethink every sentence you just read twice, and then it creates confusion in the mind. And there's a lot of books that navigate that way. And what their purpose behind that is from a writer, I'm not 100% sure. But, Trump's information, if anybody knew Trump, one of the gains of Trump was when he came into office, if you watched what he did and how he did it, he tried to be creative enough for the American people to be able to invest in what he was teaching and what he was putting forth and a sensible structure of America. The ones that paid close attention became very wealthy because of all his business decisions. And they weren't people on the insider, like what I call the inside stock exchange. Well, that would be your left and right.
Talking about, I've seen it. I just can't say anything about it, but you're right. He let you know if you want to throw it this way, throw it that way.
He was very blatant because he wanted to see positivity and growth. But again, now to come back to what we're all going to foresee by the end of 2022, and I don't see this COVID going away. No one sees it going away. No one that I talk to, and I've made a few friends out there that are in better places than I'll ever be as far as platform, and no, they see no ending. There will always be something new and some type of method, and it does fall. When you see that, it does fall into the big word agenda. And what's it all about? And that's why the truth, the day that this got passed, Agenda 2021, that has to do with climate weaponry and everything else, what they're using right now, and the direction that they're taking, the examples that they have set forth, trying to wake everybody up to the fact that they can do it, and they can, is everything Nancy Pelosi fought for on that floor that day that got passed under Agenda 2021. And now they just went to the big Agenda 30, and they critiqued everything. You got Prince Edwards or Phillips or whatever talking about it and navigating through it. And they're willing to create put all military sources from 75 countries together to start overtaking all the lands of anybody that's uncooperative. And that means that we have 50 separate lands in the United States that they will trample through as well. We have a lot to worry about right now because they are the authority and this position nightmare that we're in that they've stolen.
Michael, I don't work. I'm basically setting my business up to retire.
Mm-hmm.
And that ball's not going to happen. I'm going to end up going back out in the field. And that's okay. I need to get in shape anyway. But I'm seeing things like what you're talking about. Okay, we got a vaccine. We got contrails or whatever from aircraft.
Yes.
And we've got Bill Gates involved. A lot of people don't realize how much Fauci and Bill Gates talk. Those guys have a track record of being friends for years.
Oh, that's brotherly love there. Yeah, no doubt.
That's like a fraternity brother.
Yeah, it's like Skull and Bones with the presidents.
Yeah, I submitted a bid to a guy that I knew his sorority brother was one of his suppliers, and I went ahead and got aggressive with it. The girl that works for me was like, "Are you sure you want to do this?" I said, "Hell yeah, 250 hours a year, rock and roll." And so when I sent the spreadsheet over there, boom, here they come after me. I knew they would. I did it on purpose. Let's go, mother. I can't say the other word.
I hear you. Yeah, I tried to bite my tongue as often as I can too, because I do know in the background there can sometimes be kids, but sometimes it's just so hard not to get angry on what you speak about, you know? That's why I tried to just break up a little bit of what I do and how I try to navigate through it. I don't want to make total sense because I really want people to focus on the research of the point, not the sentencing, the point. And it keeps them working, waking, and continuing to be strong by doing it. Because if they have but the other negative point and part to that is it creates a focus of a daily ritual, which is a shame that we have to wake up every day and figure out how we're going to be bitch slapped that afternoon by some type of new mandate or just anybody being attacked, because every day of the week somebody is, something is, or something new comes into light that's going to. So it's
and that creates insecurity.
Yeah.
It makes people insecure.
Without a doubt. And that's what they want. That's the whole, you're right. And that's the whole narrative, Jeff. You hit the nail on the head. And that's why the vineyards were allowed open to be as an essential. They wanted to help medicate people any way they could. That's why there's no laws. Actually, there are no laws. And now in Pennsylvania, check out what they did here in my own city. So we get a person who represents, in a way, the BLM. He wins the election here. If it was a true election, okay, we don't know. I mean, who's to know? We just know that this man won. One of his first actions are going to be that the city police can no longer pull over people in cars that have bad plates, broken tail lights, inspection stickers bad, anything. You leave them alone. Stand on. Because if you don't, you're picking on them. Now, in my life, I've always tried to do things I needed to do. You keep your car current. You keep your car functional and safe. This is going to turn into a disaster in many ways. And, it will happen. And hopefully it happens to him, the one to back this and push this to go through and somehow convince council to do it. But these are the narratives all throughout the United States. And it's appalling. And we have nothing but less than crimes on war and humanity from our state of Pennsylvania. This Levine, the Rachel, the it person. And they talk about the narrative of how their studies were they had more knowledge in the studies of like gay community and suppression of gender and choice. What the hell did they have her up there mandating vaccinations for then? But these are just typical things that are all over the United States, and that's why they claim you don't really need a college certification or education to hold a place, a position, a job anymore. It's not really a necessity. So, yeah, it's a nightmare.
Something I thought about when you said something about flying people all over the country. If you're going to fly these people all over the country, do you have housing set up for them? Are you already financially supporting them, or are they going to be homeless?
I'm sorry, could you say that again and speak up just a little louder? I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, if you're going to fly immigrants all over the country, do you already have housing set up for them and benefits that from like food stamps and welfare and all that stuff? Has that already been established?
Oh yeah, that's been in place. Things like, and they even made it more productive for a lot of people in ways. They even created 1 year and 2 year incentive programs to people of color up here in Pittsburgh. But this just didn't happen here. It happened in a lot of places where there was even like up to $1,500 additional going to be paid to people of color. The food stamps doubled, I heard, in ways, and then you have all this money that's missing, over $100 billion now. It was all in fraud. But yes, a lot of things are in place, including housing. And I had a discussion with an apartment manager just today about it, that they are going to enforce certain forms of integrity for these people, of laws, where if something is to be rented out, you're going to call a list and let them know that you have an availability for an apartment that suits 4 people.
So the FDA has gotten involved now.
No,
not the FDA. Wait a minute. Who's the meat inspector? Dang it. USDA's office.
Oh, the USDA's office. Wow.
It's the USDA.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm not 100% sure on that. I don't talk a lot of meat unless it's just them coming down on the farmers and harvesting and destroying meats and milk and things of that nature.
The USDA's office controls housing for welfare and tax credit housing development. They've done it for years. A lot of people don't realize it. I had a contractor that was a contractor for a long time, and he went to work for them, and all of a sudden he could not talk to me because I supplied material.
Oh, really? Well, yeah, I
15
always
years ago.
thought that FEMA kind of like gave the strong arm method out to all these to keep them independent from each other and separated. I could be wrong on that. I know where part of that comes from, that I bring it up, and that has to do with a lot of declaration of martial law and more, but they also do play a hand in it. When it comes to certain type of logistics and cash and revenue, I know that it comes through Department of Justice in ways too, but that falls under a narrative of Treasury Department. So you have a couple departments working with department to make sure that the funds are always in there and allocated for. But this meat person that you're describing through Department of, oh man, I don't have my computer on next to me. I would have asked it and got you the name. But I do know one thing. They're not bringing him in here not to be able to have some type of suitable something. They'll house all the hotels and pay absorbent costs to house them. And when people go up the road 50 miles to go visit mom and dad, say, I want to stay at the hotel. These hotels might be filled for a year before they get them all into housing or affordable housings built.
Well, when the last hurricane that came up through the Gulf of Mexico and hit New Orleans, that area, those parishes, they were paying hotel rooms all the way up to central Alabama, down into lower Mississippi and lower Alabama.
Yeah.
Yes. And they were getting government money, and the casinos, all of them in Biloxi, just welcomed them on in.
Well, they want to sell. Those guys are finally probably holding sellouts every night, and that's good income for anybody that has an investment, such as the local Motel 8 or whatever. And every motel, hotel on every interstate, as you said, was full, all being guaranteed funds and monies. But I know that there's placement programs that were talked about as far as the information that I got. And that's why they're starting to narrate them through and filtrate them through this Christmas holiday. And that's what the whole plane thing was about. And it's true. More will come out on it. How much more exactly, I don't know. But I feel very comfortable in saying what I'm saying right now. And I think as I say things in advance, they usually come out a little bit after me. Some narratives, some of my slogans and things, they get caught on somewhere, or we just think people like me think alike and we're creative that way. I don't know, but it doesn't matter. What matters is, really, how do we fix this? And the only way I know to fix what we're against, because you can't fight the military. I put videos up of why you shouldn't even try to call anything out when it comes to that. And who wants to be at war with their own brothers, sisters, uncles, loved ones, maybe a grandma, a grandpa, depending upon how the generations came into place on this earth. There are some families out there that have military, just as I described. You don't want to fight your loved ones. But if you had to, and anybody did, it would be devastating for the simple reason we have capabilities where they don't have to be anywhere near us to take care of us. And you're not going to fight against something you can't see.
Yes, sir. And also, my father was a colonel in the Air Force, Fulberg, worked at the Pentagon. My uncle was in the Navy in Vietnam. I spent a lot of time with him alone. And he told me when he gave me my grandfather's double-barrel shotgun to live through the Depression, he said, I hope you don't ever see what's come down the pipeline. He said, I fear for your daughter. And I'm like, well, now I know what he meant. And it's reality.
Did he ever tell you the story? I mean, I don't know if he was there, but you said he was in the Vietnam War. Did he tell you about the typhoon that was created over there that rained for 50 days?
No, he was on an aircraft carrier, but he
okay.
Told me their biggest pet peeve over there was got to say it the way he told me. Damn American soldiers would buy pot from the gooks of the dope heads and get killed. That's, I mean, we're talking. I'm alone with him in the swamp, in the cabin that he built when he got back from Vietnam, and you don't drive to it. You got 45 minutes on a boat, John boat, or any boat. Get there, but if you want to play, you got to have a John boat.
Yeah.
Yeah, he told me all about some things I don't wish I didn't hear.
I get that. I get that. But that was the first part of the plan of the cloud seeding and weaponry. It rained for 50 days and sunk all of our equipment over there.
My father was a colonel in the Air Force. He was also actually made it up to a test pilot, and he actually mentioned something about crop dusting and what are they going to? They're going to do something higher altitude. There's a possibility that they're talking about dumping aluminum foil or something to create rain or salting.
Yeah, barium, strontium, aluminum, silver. And there's actually, up to 15 different ways that they can do it, but that's the most common. The biggest fear that I have is how they can project where the sicknesses are going to happen before they do, and they have done that, which indicates to me that they have a way of a human crop dusting us, aero spraying, whatever these contaminants are that people are becoming sick with. And I only put that logic together because I see it that way. When you specifically, even like when Harris said, watch how Christmas will be. I mean, she made comments in an early part of 2021, 6 months prior, stating how devastating the possibility of Christmas could be. Miraculously, it didn't turn out to be so bad. And I think it's because how hard we came down, and even some of the media was, I guess, a little pissed off that signed on to this whole contagious, toxic shit show that we're in. And hey, our families want to live. You don't starve us, and that's the one thing they don't do. They'll never outright do one thing that makes them look guilty. They'll filtrate it and let it come in waves, so it makes them look like they're doing the job of the good hands people. We didn't have a problem before they got here. We know you're the cause of it, no matter how you try to cover it up. Same with these vials that they send in. We know that there's so many of them are nothing. Basically a vitamin shot or, saline. So 3 bottles per box distributed, because you can't even mass manufacture. If you take every human being on the surface of this earth, and I did this topic with people, and figure out and calibrate how many bottles they can make within a 24-hour period. Well, I actually called them and asked them how many were they producing, per. And I did the math on it, and I did a show on this. It would have taken them 35 years to create this vaccine to go around the world to get everybody the first shot.
Why aren't they talking about your herd immunity if you've already had it? I've already had it twice.
What, you've had COVID twice?
He did technology with computers.
Wow.
The government bought him, and he had it. And I have a Mexican friend of mine that lives 2 doors down across the street. His family, he had it. We all had it at the same time. I got hit pretty hard. They didn't.
Yeah.
There's an age difference. You're talking 28 years old, 34 years old, and 56.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I just had 3 more people around me die. I had 2 family members die a couple months ago, and then I had 3. I mean, people are falling all over the place. They truly are.
They always do. And babies are born every day. But what was the underlying condition of the death? You can say COVID, but did they have a pre-existing condition?
Right.
That's the first thing that comes out of my house, because we have a hospital here that a guy got decapitated on the motorcycle, and they claimed it as COVID, so the hospital could get the money.
That, and you get $9,000 from the government as a gift, just so they can make the numbers look like the inflation of the numbers shows the severity of why they need to keep creating a new drug and vaccinating people.
Who gets the $9,000?
Families, as long as you allow the doctors to put on that, and no matter if you died of a heart attack, that it could have been possibly COVID related. They actually try to navigate people around it. That way, the hospitals paid for it, as well as the government gives 9,000. The reason that they did that was because they protected the pharma. Trump did it, and they wanted to keep it that way. And the only way that all goes away is if Biden was to say it's over. If Biden was to say it's over, that executive order no longer stands, and pharma can't do what they're doing. They become subject to anything from that date on in litigation, and so they're going to protect everybody. But Trump made sure that everyone was protected under that executive order, under the warp speed, and well, that didn't turn out well for me. I mean, no, I get.
No, I agree with that. But you got a man that's in office for 4 years, and the pressure that he just went through, and the staff, his own staff, people that were close to my general, stabbed him in the back. That wasn't cool.
Well, he believe me, he was told about it, and there's people that spoke out very loudly, and I know for a fact that they did have meetings with Trump. They actually pulled him aside. They made public statements that they told him what was going on. And I'm not saying anything against the president, okay? That's not where I'm going with this. But he was fair warned in many, many ways. And he knew about Pence. He knew about what Pence was practicing way before, and that's why he even made the statement. He knew Pence wasn't going to go in there and make that decision. He knew the fall that was going to happen January 6th. That's why he didn't want to really weigh himself into that situation the way that they're weighing him into it now, that call out to tell the people to stop. That leak of all that information where Hannity's involved, Don Jr.'s involved, and all those issues as well. I mean, we could talk narrative here all night, but the point is, I understand where he was. And I saw in his own face and his own actions, because I can read things. I can read an emotion. And I saw the day he came out and had to make this announcement, he looked like he got out of bed on the wrong side. You go back and look at that video. He did not want to do this, and he knew at that point he was had.
You know how many times I've been to Trump Tower before he even came down that Escalade? I've seen that Escalade. You have no idea.
Tell me.
I have a friend that worked woman management restaurant. I was going to go try to, never worked for anybody before, but I was going to go into something that my buddy looked at me and said, "You do not want to work for him. You can't handle it. You've been self-employed too long. Don't do it." Okay. So that was the end of that conversation.
Well, his show made that presentation. You're fired.
Oh, yeah, I would have been fired. I kind of.
And he wouldn't be afraid to do it. And his thing, it would be a valuable lesson to you. However, I don't look at it all that way. But I will say this. On the business aspect, he knew how to collaborate. He understood where money was needed, how to put it back. He looked at all the ill effects that weren't working. He actually looked. No one else was ever looking. He did. And that's why he made deals with China, and he made deals this way and that way all across the United States. We're sending military to protect you. Well, you're going to have to pay us for doing it. We shouldn't be doing all this. So,
Michael, if you think about it, if your brother passes, tore his ass up, then 9/11 happens right there in Manhattan. He sends his crew over there. His crew's shocked. We're at war all of a sudden.
yeah.
He said, with this, the government should have known something about it. And he ate on that for a long time. I think the guy does not have the stamina, to be honest. I think somebody else should. If he does, 4 years, he'll clean house. And that'll be the 4 years of cleaning house that needs to be done. Then he'll step back.
I do believe that would be our vindication and validation to everything that we're in. These people will pay the price. Remember, these people aren't going to give up and just surrender and walk away. They're going to do something devastating. Oh man, I'm telling you, that's the whole focus point of this Agenda 21.
Bill Gates and Fauci scared the hell out of me. And Biden, because nobody's running the country, really.
No. Well, people are running the country. They're just not from this country.
Right. And if China and Russia do what you talked about times than Katie bar the door.
Yeah.
Because we already have a problem with vehicle computer chips, and they've already threatened that today. Oh, does anybody have any mourning for Harry Reid passing away, by the way, tonight?
Wait a minute. Harry Reid?
Correct.
Yeah, I have no clue on that, if anything's going on for him or not.
He passed away. He died.
Yeah, I'm aware of it, but I didn't have time to get focused too far into that on the narrative that I was using tonight. That would have came up for Friday night once total confirmation, everything came in. I do try to play things with a couple days leeway. I think everybody's safer because we are being fed negativity. And people claim it's on one side, but I truly think it all comes from one side. They give us enough to keep us happy, but to use it as a control mechanism to piss us off, to cause social anxiety, to fact check us, even though we know fact checking, it's only all been an opinion. It's not ever based upon a true fact of anything that anybody can find. And they testified to that in a court. That came from Facebook themselves. Well, it's truly not a fact check. It's just an opinion. And people have the right to an opinion, and that we employ them to use their opinion. So, whatever it takes in this world,
All attorneys that I know that I'm familiar with in my state, and judges when they have to go to the computer, they don't use Google. They use DuckDuckGo.
Yeah, everybody's getting away from Google totally. Because to be honest with you, I don't know if you know this. Our agency gave all the software and productivity and processors to use to basically spy upon us, number one. This all came from the military industrial complex, a division of them.
Is it still in play?
Oh, yeah. But here's the bigger reason that's come out, and it came out through ATIP. I don't know if you know the name Lou Alessandro.
Yes, I've heard it.
Okay, well, that's ufology, and it's the narrative of what's all this unexplained stuff that the Navy's now come forth and says this stuff exists. It's real. We don't, even Obama's made admissions to it and more. We don't understand it. We're studying it. It could be all false narrative. It really could be us when we see these things. Maybe we did have development in a good way that way, or more so probably the Germans than we ever would have, because they were much brighter than our scientists by far. And think about it. There was an agreement between Germany and the United States. Why did NASA wind up with all their space-o engineers over here? Because, it was a deal struck. But anyway, they're going to do it so they can collaborate intelligent life to us in messages. They're to sequence all the messages through the Pentagon and the White House and one other agency. I can't think of it. I can't think it off the top of my head. So they're admitting now that they're going to be using Google outright, and whistleblowers that came forth, but they're not really whistleblowing. Certain parts of their agreement that they signed, they couldn't talk about certain things, and other things they would never be in trouble for talking about.
Non-disclosures.
Yeah, the non-disclosures in a way. So this guy, I'm going to be putting up a video about it, and it's going to basically share this whole narrative of what I'm discussing with you. And actually, it might already be on America Disclosed Uncensored. But this guy came out and said this was all put in place through Google so they can do all the interceptions of the messages because we are in touch with other life. And that's just all coming. This is all flying. That's what I'm telling you. Fingers keep pointing to the air. Suggestions are being made. Who the hell knows? Who the hell knows? But my thought is this. Keep an eye on it. Keep an open mind to it. We'll keep researching it. There's a lot of documentation on it, and it's never going to go away. A lot of deathbed confessions, and we'll narrate around it. And even Trump himself said there's a lot of very, very interesting things in Area 51, but many presidents have said things. And I think we would have had a disclosure under Hillary, and possibly maybe even some type of false flag threat, as if we had problems arriving in our planet, and it all kind of all got blown apart. And I think they're trying to orchestrate it back now in a way to show that there may be a greater power. And you guys better listen. We're under some kind of control here. They're much more intelligent than we are. I'm just saying. I'm not trying to throw some bizarre faculty of thought out there, but these are narratives, and these are also comments and statements that came by some very high people and big places, and people that also, when presidents are brought in, go to the presidents, sit and talk with them, and they give them this type of information. So these people themselves said that these things were expected to take place, but only if Hillary would have got him in. When Trump got in, they still had to sit with him and give him, certain facts, but they don't always give you every one.
Right.
They got to know you're all the way in with them to know anything. That's the bottom line. And Trump's never been all the way in. But again, what was the space program all about for? He didn't develop it. It's been in existence for 45 years.
Well, the layout has been, the blueprints have been done, the specifications and everything else. But that's the kind of duty. He's going to hire people that know how to read a blueprint and specifications and enable it and execute it.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to.
I agree. So we're here we are living in a nightmare, and we're all trying to decipher what it means and try to reflect to the best parts.
To be honest, sorry to cut you off, man.
No, you're good.
We gotta focus on what we know, not what we don't know, because that speculation is going to be a waste of brain power to me. I need to, and like you said earlier too, you said something about MC clubs. If you don't think these guys aren't going to church, and if you know what I mean, discussing it, and they can say that the HAs don't like so-and-so don't like so-and-so, they'll kill each other. When it comes to the country and American freedom, they'll band together. Those colors won't be but one.
Oh, yeah, no doubt about it. Yeah, whites will fight by the with the blacks, and the blacks will fight with the yellow skin and the red skin and more. I mean, people will come together. The problem is, though, technology is much greater. It doesn't matter. I mean, they do have us in a very particular spot. Our weaponry and development is so many years more advanced than what people want to truly understand. And that doesn't come from speculation of certain things. That comes from facts, and I can back those up. But the bottom line is, it's still, something we don't want to walk into, because you don't want a mother going home, not being able to go home to be with her children anymore, or her father, because that's the worst case scenarios we could ever run into. And that would happen in great magnitude of numbers.
The internet is a double-edged sword. Bad. You either have the intelligence to understand what you want to. You've got to be, at this point, have morals. The internet can be, just like you said, it's used to it's weaponized.
Mm-hmm. Everything's a weapon against us. We're fighting each other over this. That's how they split and divided our families early in this. That's why our brothers aren't talking to us 2 years later over Christmas. And believe me, I'm dealing with one of those faculties in my own family. I'm not just one. I get an opinion like, if it doesn't affect me, it doesn't matter to me. I'm just going to live my life. On the other hand, I couldn't say anything right when I said the day after this happened, and I swear, if you go back in my videos, you'll hear I spell BIO loud and clear, and it was, even though it wasn't classified as a major element of bio, it still was a bio release, and it doesn't get released, in the mannerism as it was taking place, unless it's not all utilized in a different way of spread. Spread can occur, but let me run something by you. Okay. And I talked about this the other night. You might have been on. I have a couple neighbors. They both wound up sick and they don't even see people, never left the house to go shopping. Their family drops them off food. They hadn't been seen in over 2 weeks. They were outside in the yard with the dogs. That was the only place they were. And they're sick with COVID. Tell me how that's happening. Can anybody answer that fault of what's going on? Because this is happening largely. It's there's a different delivery system being used here. Remember, if they want us and that they're using that type of delivery system on us, they can do anything they want against us and we don't ever stand a chance. And they can isolate how they do it.
I don't know if you know this. I know I've had COVID, but I took a test to see if I had antibodies a while back. The pharmacy charged me $35 and came up I have no immune system. I'm like, okay, well, I've already had it. And I asked them, I said, well, can I get a test when I come back? They said, we're not doing it anymore. Okay. This makes sense.
Well, I know that they now dropped COVID, if you have it, only to 5 days. I know that the testings aren't being done. Elon Musk pulled the bust on that one. He went in, told him he was sick. He did 4 tests. He demanded that they do 4 tests. He said he would reimburse them at any cost. Two were positive, 2 were negative. So
I'm thinking the same thing as you about Trump and DeSantis, Elon Musk. Now that's a different animal if he's against China. If he turns against China with everybody wanting to go electric to lithium, we've got something positive right there.
yeah,
Just saying.
I hear you, brother. Well, hey, listen, it's getting a little bit late on my side, and I enjoyed our conversation. I don't mean to cut you off. Yeah, it's kind of like the nighttime thing scenario. I got to do my nighttime meds. Nothing bad, all controllable stuff. Diabetic, got to eat by a certain time, got to take a pill by a certain time, that kind of thing. And I try to stay to that regimen, and I'm upon it now. So I want to thank you and apologize for you. I didn't mean to put you on a spot.
Man, it was cool. My adrenaline got up, and I'm like, oh shit, I got to run to the office. I got 600 pounds of material in there. I'm thinking I can go damn. I'm like, God, I didn't get another roll of packing tape. So I'm like, no, you hit my head, and I'm like, no, it's not Wednesday, it's Tuesday, Michael. Jesus Christ.
Hey, I'm allowed to live in my fantasy world of mistakes, Just hey, you know what though? It's guys like you that'll keep me on my toes, and I appreciate it. And again, I thank you. And you know what? I actually enjoyed this. You're a great speaker and general conversation and knowledge. And that's all it takes for us to get a message across to America. So you really helped the platform tonight, and I thank you.
I'm really curious about, you're in PA and I'm in the state of Alabama.
Yeah.
So that's the curiosity of, I'm seeing how people are moving in different states. And PA is blue, right?
Yeah, people are getting the hell out of here big time.
When I flew from, real quick, I got to go to, and when I flew with my daughter, she's 28 now, she was 13. I had to do a stopover to, I forgot to call, Hartford, Connecticut. And I had the worst experience on a layover at that airport in Philadelphia.
Well, Philadelphia is probably one of our worst sectors and airports in the state of, but Pittsburgh, it's a little more modern, a better ramp facility, I think, in my opinion. I don't fly a lot, and I can only apologize for stupidity of people if they made your experience that bad. But
to work there, to live there, I almost got in a fight because they were cussing around my kid. I was fixing to go after this big dude. I'm like, no, I got my daughter here. I'm like, shut up, quit cussing like that. I'm like, come on, man.
Yeah, well, you know what?
We don't do that around kids.
And you know what? It's going to get worse because a lot of kids had kids and they had no upbringing. So what you experienced there, I see folds worse to come, and that's probably a lot of this scenario that we've even experienced, with the riots and the fires and the destruction and the groups and different things that have gone on. So,
In all honesty, in my state,
I get where
I'm
you're at. I get where you're
they're
at.
not gonna do that here. They're not. We're hiring more metropolitan police officers from New Orleans and Atlanta in the rural areas that are hard. They're
Yeah.
not going to let it happen.
Well, you know what?
Have a good night, man.
You got to stay strong in all areas because they're trying the biggest what they're trying to do is cut all appropriations and fundings back of tax dollars, not even to fix roads anymore.
Oh yeah, I know. I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it bad. And the front end of the supposable $1.3 trillion Build Back America plan has 9 points on infrastructure, and the front end of it is just heavy on a handout to go into the 2022 election. That's all it is. And I think Joe Manchin is going to cave. He's going to get bought out like he did on the other thing that he approved. I think he got $1 million. It's just sickening. But I got to crash. I'm going to do my little job and make my little money, and I'm not no sheep.
All right, brother. Well, you have a good one, and we'll talk again, man. All right?
Thank you, sir. Have a good night.
All right, Jeff Strong. Take care. Appreciate you. Wow, that was Jeff Strong. That was a pretty good conversation. I didn't think I was going to have anybody to talk to tonight. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to get the hell out of here. I hope it was informative. I hope we talked and had a good discussion of things that you were probably thinking as well. Maybe you guys cut out. I get it if you did. If you didn't, I at least enjoyed it. So from Studio 10, 10 o'clock talks, I'm Michael Anthony, and I appreciate you guys. Focus, people. 2021, nothing but a disaster, and you know it. 2022 doesn't look any better by far. Again, I'm not mad at Trump, but I must protect these children. Just saying. Have a great night. Don't judge me. I'll never judge you.